Greetings, Terrarians, Khaios here. Welcome back to the Let's Play world. This time, I'm going to be picking up where I left off in all of the building experiments. Experiments? They weren't experiments. The building projects that I started yesterday. So I just made this research facility right here that's only partway completed and not at all decorated. So that's one thing that I'm going to be working on today. In addition to that, I'm going to be going into this cavern over here, detailing the floor, making it look pretty. I'm also going to be expanding this cavern quite a bit off to the right over here as well, though that's going to come a little bit later. I do want to get the decorations done first. So I'd like to bring this out quite a bit and maybe even up a fair bit as well, and then I'll convert that into a glowing mushroom biome. In addition to both of those things, if I have enough time, I would actually like to go up onto the surface and make a teeny tiny base expansion up here. So we are almost going to be entering hard mode. The plan is to kill the wall of flesh next week, and if we're going to do that, I would like to have a surface mushroom biome with a house in it so that we can get the truffle to move in. So that's going to be on the agenda right here. Build another house here. And I'm also thinking about building a elevator to go down from here as well. And I'll talk about that more when it comes time to work on that. So for now, let's head on back to the base, and we're going to get to work on decorating the research area. And we're starting that research area off with a bit of a challenge. I do want to move the truffle NPC down here into this test tube, and I want it to be valid so that he doesn't run away as soon as it gets nighttime or it starts raining. So that's precisely what I did. So if I go over here, we click this, it is a suitable NPC house, and if I wanted to, I can move an NPC into here. Say I wanted to move Shino there. There we go. Shino can move in. Let me just make it nighttime, show you that it's a valid house. Shino in a test tube. So the way that this house works is it utilizes the same mechanics that I was talking about last episode with the cage that I put the guide in the underworld. But this one's a little bit different because of where it's located. So this is the main part of the house. This is the only place that an NPC could stand. However, if I grab the grand design, you can see all of these actuators here. So all of these blocks that have actuators on them are currently actuated. You could just hardly tell the difference because they've been painted gray, and the unactuated blocks right here have been painted black, and they're nearly identical. The reason why I need these two unactuated is because this mushroom on top is a workbench. It counts as the table for the house. Right here, it's teeny tiny and it's painted black and it's turned off, so it's hard to see, but I do have a torch in there as well. That counts as the light source. This mushroom right here is obviously a mushroom chair. That counts as the chair for this house. So all of the requirements are met, as this counts as the inside, this counts as the inside, and this does as well. So all of those spaces turn this into a valid NPC house. And now we have a test tube to move the truffle into once he's moved into our world. And yes, I know he would prefer living on the surface. I don't care. We can move him up there if we need to buy something, but he's going to spend his time right here where he's being researched. So I'm going to just get back to work on decorating this area so that I can move on to other plans for the day. The research area is pretty much done now, and I'm really happy with the way that it's looking. I've got a bunch of this dynasty wood that's been actuated. It kind of acts like pipeworks. We've got little tubes over here for various mushrooms and vines, things that they're studying. Obviously, we have the main test tube for when we get the truffle. We even have some workstations, an extractinator, an alchemy table. I even placed some plates, and we've got cream soda, sake, some bottles, some vases, and it just looks like various containers full of whatever kinds of potions, chemicals that they're brewing up in here while they're studying. these 2 spaces right here are for critters. I want to take another suggestion that I got from the comment section to place some gem critters in here as if they're studying them as well. If only I had a gem critter to catch, to actually place in here. It's like I could never find them anywhere at all. How am I supposed to create terrariums for them to study these gem critters if I can't find them anywhere? They're so hard to find. It's like it's impossible task to look for these things. I'm just joking. I'm gonna grab 1 sapphire squirrel and 1 amethyst bunny. We'll make these into a cage, and let's place these down. And hopefully it looks as if this dynasty wood piping is feeding straight into the container, because I thought that would be a nice look. And I might change the background walls, I'm not sure, but I'm very happy with how everything's looking. So up next, I'm going to work on this cave. Now clearly, based on this door, I plan to expand the base further out here, and I'm not going to have this big drop off here. I just haven't filled it in yet. And I am going to go ahead and detonate the side of this cave even further and get everything nice and open real quick. I'm just restocking on explosives to clear out that area, and it occurs to me that I kind of have a crazy idea. I don't know if I'm going to go through with this, but I think I'm going to try. You see this granite biome here, right? And you see all of this cave stuff over here, minus the pizzeria area. I don't want any of these gaps spawning critters or enemies. And the reason for that is I want them all spawning in my base so that I can maximize my gold input from all of those awesome critters. So I'm thinking about making a bunch of dirt bombs and going through here and just filling in as much of the area as I can with dirt so that it doesn't spawn any critters. And yeah, I think I'm gonna try that. Ooh, I haven't seen one of these yet. Golden worm. I like it. I like it. And mostly just because it's going to bring me a bunch of money in. But I don't care. Aw, I've been visited by a fairy, and look at how helpful it's going to be. Taking me straight to some loot. You know, a chest. You know, the chest inside of my base that I placed. Well, that wasn't very helpful. Oh, hello, Blue. So, check out the map. I went crazy. I still have a half stack plus of some dirt bombs. It's not perfect. There's some gaps. I didn't realize that I left some gaps, but it's pretty good. And yeah, I think this will actually up the critter spawn in my base area pretty good. So I'm happy with it. And Blue can, I guess, steal more of my critters. I couldn't help but notice that you've made it this far into the video. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Since I have your attention still, I wanted to talk about growing this channel. We are well on our way to reaching 200,000 subscribers, which honestly blows my mind. I never thought that the channel would be in this position in just a year and a half from my very first video, and I thank everybody who's joined this amazing community. But many of you who watch these videos don't actually subscribe. Most of you, in fact. And trust me, I get it. I've been guilty of watching videos of other content creators that I really enjoy without leaving a subscription. Something that I've learned on my own YouTube journey is that it really makes a big impact though. Not only will you be more likely to receive a notification when I publish a video, but it also helps get my videos out to new viewers. The algorithm here on YouTube notices things like spikes in new subscribers, and it rewards those by showing videos from that channel to more people, which you could imagine would be a huge benefit to somebody trying to grow their viewer base. So if you're enjoying this Let's Play series, or if you like any of the other content on my channel, and if you would like to easily support my content, or if you just want to help us reach the 200k goal, please consider subscribing. You know, now that I think of it, it's kind of ironic that I talk about building something up, while in the background there's a video of me blowing something up. The cave has been cleared out, and I went ahead and I had to go to the surface, farm some more slimes, but I made a bunch of sticky dirt bombs, and as you can see here, I went ahead and finished filling in as much of this area as I could. Obviously, I missed some pockets. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Most of the spawns will now happen around my base, which means pinkies, apparently. I was gonna say critters, but pinkies work. That's actually quite a bit of gold. I did not mean to butcher that gem bunny, poor thing. In addition to that, I don't know if you saw it, I added a different kind of false foundation to the research area. Let me just kill these hot wives real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, let me go over there. Snail. I'm so easily distracted in this cave with so many spawns. So I didn't feel like the rock floor made a whole lot of sense without having supports on it like I do under here. And I tried out putting some of those columns here, and it just didn't feel right to me with all of the mechanisms going through here. It felt better to have a more solid floor. So I went with plating down here that's been painted white, so it almost looks like it's a foreground tile. And that's not all that happened while I was working on filling in that area and finishing off detonating the cavern. While I was filling off the granite biome over here, I had a golem spawn, well, a few golems spawn, and one of them dropped, there it is, a night vision helmet. So I'm gonna grab this, and I do believe that I can combine that with my mining helmet to give me an ultra bright helmet that will give me more light. So let me just head over to the Goblin's Tinkerer workbench, and I believe that's how I craft that up. I don't have one in my base, so I think the nearest one is at the desert pylon. Let me just swing over here. It should be right in this. Oh, that's now Chippy's couch. People move furniture all the time, and I don't know where I don't know where it goes. I need to have all of these workstations at my base so I know where they're at. Let me see if I have it researched. If not, I'm going to buy one, and I'm going to place it at my base. So for now, I'm going to just place it right here. That is not its forever home, and that is a golden bunny. I will be moving this later. I want to have a crafting area with all of the stations in the future. That's not an option right now because I don't have the space for it, and I will be working on that later. I also need a storage facility and an herb farm. So those are on the agenda, just not for today. Probably next week, because I would really like to get those done. However, with this here, let's go over here. Let's grab my mining helmet. And there we go. Ultra bright helmet. Ah, much, much brighter. Fantastic. Yes, I like. This should help with your viewing pleasure when I'm down here in my base as well. So I'm going to start now working on sculpting out all of the cave. Quite a bit of time has passed, and the cave is making a lot of progress. We have all of the glowing mushroom in place, which makes the entire cave a glowing mushroom biome now, which is fantastic. I grew some of these gem trees in a few different locations, just so it emulated what was going on the other side of my base. What I need to do next is work on some of the background walls for everything, and then I'll get rid of all of these torches once that's in place. I just wanted to have them here so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see, as long as I don't have that darkness debuff on me. And then after that's done, I'm going to move onto the surface, create the second elevator. It's not a elevator, it's a Hoik elevator. and then build a base up here, just a small outpost, so that as soon as we go into hard mode, we can get the truffle moving in. Blue, why are you in my base? Wow, Blue is a monster. Way to go. So I misspoke a little while ago when I said all I needed to do was finish up the walls and get rid of the torches here, because I completely forgot about all of the other decorations that go into this custom biome. So I'm going to make some large mushrooms. I'm going to make, place mushroom plants, and I'm going to reveal the secret thing that I talked about in the last episode, and I want to make, like, the mushroom of life. It's going to be a gigantic mushroom right here in the center of the cave. So I'm going to get my material set up for that. I don't have everything that I need on me right at this moment, and then we'll get started on building it. The large custom trees are now complete, including what I'm calling the Tree of Life, which is this monstrosity here in the middle. I'm kind of going to go with, like, this is the source of all of the mushrooms in the world, and they just kind of spread out from here. I'm not going to be doing it today, but what I would like to do is eventually place a bunch of equipment around, like Gem Spark, and once I can get it, midnight confetti on tops of stands, like maybe with some palladium column, and just make it look like there's research equipment out here studying this gigantic mushroom. And I'm also going to be doing things like extending the build out here, like the actual structures, probably up top to this side, and I even want to go underneath this gigantic tree and end up on this side as well. I really want to utilize this cave in a very big way with all of my builds, but I have to do it little by little, a chunk at a time. For now, this cave is pretty much done. I just have to go around and place some of these mushrooms and orange bloodroot and blueberry bushes. I would use strange plants, but unfortunately we don't have any of those yet. They will start growing once we enter hard mode, which will be great because I'd love to use those as well. Once I've got all of these decorations in place, I'm going to work on that elevator. Why do I keep calling it a elevator? It's just an elevator. And then I'll meet up with you guys before we work on the base on the surface that our truffle can move into. Have I ever mentioned that I absolutely love scare bombs? Because I do. From the top of a large world to the bottom in just a minute or two using less than one stack, these things are amazing. Here we have the elevator up and down, all finished up. So if we go up, and then you can see we can go just walk to the side and go straight back down. It's easy to go in a loop with this, and it's a lot of fun to use in my opinion. So the reason why I went with 2 shafts instead of 1, which I do have a design to put it in 1, but it's not multiplayer friendly. It requires wiring and it requires items that we get in hard mode, but mostly the issue is with wiring, because if 1 player's in here, other players won't be able to enter. If 2 try to enter at the same time, it just breaks. So since this is a multiplayer server, I decided it would be best to have 1 up direction, 1 down direction. So at the very top, you could see I did some rough landscaping here. I filled in a little tunnel here. I raised this up quite a bit higher than it was. And then I bombed a lake with dirt bombs that used to be here. I might add a water feature back in eventually, but I want to make this a decent looking surface mushroom biome because obviously we want this world to look good. These are just really roughly shaped right here because they're from the dirt bombs, but what I'm going to be doing is placing a layer of mud probably about that high without paint. I don't actually want to paint that. And I'll make the terrain taper off a little bit slower, so I'll end up covering all of these spots up anyway, so we won't see all of that roughness. And that's going to take a little bit of time, so I'm just going to get straight into that right now. And here we have one half of the glowing mushroom biome on the surface, and I just need to do the other side. I'm also going to add some little hills, cliffs, caves. I'm going to make it interesting, but this is already going to be a very long video, so I think I'm going to just jump into the final product of that before I get to working on the actual base pod. We have our glowing mushroom biome, we have our little cave, our little hill. Plants are starting to grow. So we've got some of the cattails, we've got some of the vines, which I wish would grow underground. I can't wait for that bug to be fixed. I'll also wait for some trees to pop up, but for now, I'm going to get... Bye zombie. But for now, I'm going to get started on building the rest of this pod here. Originally, I was just going to build a tiny pod similar to the one that I did in the hell biome, but then I got to thinking, I want the truffle to be able to live either on the surface or underground, and I also want the truffle to seem like it is in containment being studied. I want that to apply to both the surface and the cavern layer. So instead of creating a small pod up here, I decided to make it much larger and do an additional research area. This build will take elements used around the base below, but change up the shape a fair bit as well. I needed to have one slightly enlarged room so that it can contain the truffle's test tube, and I also wanted a large glass observation sphere on one side. I'm not exactly sure what I'll use it for in the future, I just thought it would look good. For now, I'm just going to be placing a bed in it. As many of you have pointed out, my base feels like it's inspired by Subnautica, and that is absolutely true. I'm a huge fan of that game, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to bring that style not only into Terraria, but change it up so that it was going underground instead of underwater. And this build is no exception to that, which is why I'm placing it on top of raised supports and giving it rounded glass windows. So I have the outer frame of this structure complete. It's a bit hard to see because of how dark it is. I really wish that I could pull off the appearance like this. Obviously over here to the right there's less mushroom grass, so it's not technically an overgrown mushroom biome, but you can see the background but get normal light. I wish this is what it was like all the time, but this is what we've got. Obviously I need to expand the mushroom biome so we don't have this flash throughout the build. And how I think I'm going to do that actually is right here on the roof. And I might make like a little hatch right here for us to exit. But what I'm thinking about doing is grabbing some mud and putting it on top of the build like this and adding some mushroom grass to the top. It would look like everything's overgrowing, and I think it would be a really good fit. In addition to that, I'm going to get working on the walls, and I'm going to make some large custom mushrooms like I have underground. So the large mushrooms are done, everything has grown in, and everything is looking fantastic. I'm really happy with how everything has turned out in this build. The only thing that's missing at this point is decorations. So what I'm planning on doing with this particular build is making it more of the same research area that we have below. I still want the underground segment to be my main base. So I'm going to place my herb farm down there, I'm going to place my storage down there. Everything that I'm going to need will be down here. So this is mainly going to be aesthetic. I'm just gonna ignore the slime rain. I just had to get rid of that slime rain. It was way too annoying. And while I was there, I built the test tube for the truffle. It is now suitable housing. So whether he's on the surface or down underground, he will be able to live in suitable housing while still being in a research test tube. So what I'm going to be doing next is adding the rest of the decorations to this place, and I'm thinking more of what we have in the underground segment. So we have little research tubes like that, and maybe I'll do another critter thing here. I'm not sure. I'm gonna mess around with it, but then we're gonna jump to the final version of this Before we take a look at the final build, you may have noticed throughout this episode that I've been doing a lot of fighting and a lot of critter catching, and that has resulted in a lot of gold. I currently have a platinum and 38 gold, but that's not even close to what I've collected this entire build session, which has taken the better part of a day, almost an entire day in fact. Now if we look in here, here's my main haul. You could tell how many times I killed the hoplite. I need to sell all of these. I just wanted to make the emphasis of that pretty clear. But it's not just that. I also have stuff stored in here. Like I got an entire gladiator set as well. And so what I'm planning on doing right now is going through and selling all of this stuff real quick. See how much money I made in this session, because I've been holding on to it. I haven't been stashing it at all. And yeah, I'm really curious, especially with 13 gold bunnies. And let me say, when Blue came by, I killed one so he couldn't have it. And then I gave him another one. So actually 15 spawned today, and I got 2 gold worms. So let me sell everything and see how much money we made, except for these two. I've decided that I'm going to try and get every gold critter in a cage. So anytime I get a gold critter, I'm going to try and save one of them. Okay, let's sell everything else. And here we are. Today I made 4 platinum, 89 gold. That is absolutely bonkers. I love it. So let's just quick stack that in. We are up to 7 platinum and 69 gold, and things are looking good. So let's take a look at that final build. It's just missing one more piece of decoration, maybe 2 if I could squeeze it in. I had to make that critter cage right there, so we've got the sapphire bunny. And can I fit this anywhere? Yeah, I could fit this right up here. So let me get rid of a couple of these and that plate right there. There we go. So now, here is the final build. I am very happy with how everything's gone. Today, we filled in the rest of the area with dirt. We carved out and decorated and completed the entire cave. We made the bottom research area. We made the surface research area. We have valid houses for the truffle to move in. Got a lot done today. Today was a huge, busy session, and I'm very happy with how everything turned out. Now, I'm not quite done, so I would like to do more before we fight the wall of flesh. Quite a bit more. I thought of a few things that I would probably want to get done before then, like an herb farm, and a storage facility, and something special, which I'm going to be talking about later. That means I think I'm going to break my rule of only doing, well, I've already broken the rule anyway, of only doing the Let's Play server once a week. And it's not going to be twice a week. I'm going to make one more video this week of me building, continuing the base so that I get an herb farm and a storage facility, and then that one special thing that I'm not going to talk about until the next episode. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, be sure to tune back probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. It depends on how long it takes. It's going to be a big project, trust me. But that's going to wrap up my big base expansion today. That also happened to earn me quite a bit of platinum. I can't wait to show you all what I have planned next. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to let me know by pressing the like button. And let me know in the comments if you think that you can guess what I'm planning to build in the next episode. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll catch you all later with a brand new build video. Until then, happy building.